And welcome to the Writer's Life, place where you get the sight, sound, smells, taste of my particular writer's life and where you get the truth about the writer's life. Anyway, my particular truth. But subscribe if you haven't already. Punch the like button. Tap the bell for notifications so that you don't miss out on one single exciting video. And if you would, go to vinzandrew.com. Pick up a thriller or two to escape with this weekend. There's a lot there to choose from, and more coming. Believe me. I got a great guest again today. The great Gunny, my uncle Harvey Stanbrough, pulp master. I mean, man of the world. How are you, Harv?
I'm doing good so far. Yourself?
Still not tits up yet.
Yeah, there you go.
So I can't complain. Well, aside from like a month of like colds and head colds or whatever, I'm starting to bitch like an old man who's about to turn 60. It's like suddenly like it just I'm making that transition, and I can already tell I'm going to be a miserable old bastard.
I feel for you, little brother.
Yeah, jeez. Doesn't get any better, does it?
No, sir. And at this point, I can still remember 60, but just barely.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know where the time went. I feel like I was born, I blinked, and suddenly, like, I mean, I'm not going to be 60 till July, but when you count like in utero, I was alive 60 years ago, right? I was with my mother, but so I don't know. I still feel like I got a lot to do. So
I think that's the trick. I think you just keep doing what you do, and the devil's got to wait outside the door.
Yeah, wait his turn. And you know something? What did Mark Twain say? He said, "I was dead for billions of years before I was born, and it didn't bother me."
There you go.
And I'll be dead for billions of more years, and it won't bother me. I love that. So, Harv, one thing I want to talk to you about is you're. I haven't actually started reading any of it yet. Like you, I got stacks of books, or whatever.
Yep.
But you're writing on Substack. You're writing. You're writing live. You're doing the Harlan Ellison thing. How's that been going for you?
Almost.
Yeah.
I post whatever I write on my current novel that day on Substack,
Right.
And it goes out at 4:00 every day, Arizona time. Because we're not insane out here. We don't change times.
That's right.
Our legislators apparently have enough sense to know you can't cut a foot off one end of a blanket and then sew it to the other end and make a longer blanket. Doesn't work that way.
Come to New York. You'll find plenty of that. It was funny. I don't know what just reminded me of that, but probably New York's like everybody. You can't. I don't know how Arizona is. I've never been to Arizona, but and in fact, I'm writing about it right now. I'm writing about Yuma, but in New York now, New York State, they legalized pot, at least on the state level, and it's still outlawed on the federal level. But so you can't if you're jogging on the road or walking, whatever, every 2 cars smells like a skunk.
Yeah.
Because they can, I can get high in the car while I'm driving, And last night I'm standing outside on the terrace, drinking a beer and listening to some news, and this pickup truck just goes speeding by and veers off the road and slams into a tree. I don't know what happened to the dude, but he hit it full force, head on, and he had to be suffering some serious van damage today. I don't know, but I mean that's New York State for you. So long as they get votes,
Yep.
As long as they
Votes is
stay in
all
power.
that counts.
Yep.
That's all that counts.
That's all they want. They want to stay in power.
Stay in power and make money.
That's it. So I don't know how I got on that, but that's very exciting. That and this is the Black Ops book that you're doing.
No, I've actually posted 2 Black Ops books.
Right.
On that Writing in Public Substack, and I took 3 days off writing. Then
Wow.
3 days off writing fiction. I was about to go out of my damn mind.
That's huge for you.
And yeah, and I look back at an old idea I had probably a year ago, and I read over it, and I thought, man, I really like that idea, but it just wasn't working.
Right.
So I just canned it, it's like 12,000 words or something like that,
Right.
But I tell my writers, if, words to us, to writers, words are just tools.
Right.
A word to me is like a nail to a carpenter. So, if you find a box full of bent nails, you throw them out. You grab a new box and start over, right? So that's what I did. I chunked that and I started over. And man, of course, the novel I'm writing right now fits into a series of about 20 other novels. Right. And it's a Western series. So it's completely different than the Blackwell Ops stuff,
Right.
It's a Western series and a period Western. So set in the late 1890s, long in there, 1880s. And so I posted the first 4 chapters of that yesterday. And today I've already posted the next 3 chapters. And then tomorrow I'll post whatever I write tomorrow and so on until the novel is finished. And it's taken me, so for some weird reason, lately it's taken me 10 days to write a novel.
10 days.
So that's all getting posted over a period of probably about 10 days.
So what are you doing, about 5,000 words a day?
Well, my daily goal, I believe in daily word count goals. Right. And I don't quit writing until I hit the damn goal,
Oh, good for you.
And some days you don't quite make it.
Right.
But that goal will drive you back to the computer and make you try one more time. Right. And just one of my big mottos is keep coming back. Right. If you're a writer, you're going to have other things you got to do. I told you a few minutes ago off camera, I had to go to the store today with my wife. Well, when we got back and I came back out here, I was about to start writing again. And then I got this long email that I responded to. And then I saw your emails and I thought, oh man, I got to get it.
You wouldn't have kept Joe Rogan waiting.
Yeah, leaving my buddy in the lurch, man. I didn't like that. So
nah, you were good.
So anyway, here we are, and I try to hit 3,000 words a day, and the benefit of that is sometimes you go over.
Yeah.
So what I'm looking for is an average. If I can average 3,000 words a day. And I try to do that every calendar day, not just on writing days.
Nope.
Like even with the 3 days that I was recently off, because I had to be, I'm still averaging a little bit over 3,000 a day, even with not writing on those 3 days. So, so it all works out. And then the writing in public thing it's kind of like what you're doing on Vella. Yeah. You told me once that one of the reasons you like Vella is because it compels you to write. It makes you get back on the computer, and get back into the story and do what you do. And so that's kind of what I'm using the Writing in Public Substack for. Is it forces me it gives me a place to report. I'm an old Marine. I got to have a place to report.
There you go.
So it gives me a place to report, just like the journal that I write, It gives me a place to report.
Exactly.
Check in and show off.
Yeah, and exactly. I find that, like, I think most writers, at least those of us who do it full time, like you and me, we get obsessed about keeping schedules and about keeping, maintaining habits and word counts and things like this. And when I started in on Vella, I wasn't sure what to think of it. And, and I chucked it for like a few months. And then I went back to it and I discovered that, like, wow, by submitting a chapter, at least a chapter every single day, no matter what, not only made good money, but like you got into this rhythm where you would write a chapter, edit it, make it as good as you can make it right there as you're writing it. And then you put it up and, you publish it on Vella. And you tell the people, like, you're reading a raw and uncut version. The published version will be a little bit different. And that serves two purposes. Number one, because it is sort of raw and uncut, but it's not going to change that much. But number two, maybe it would also compel potential readers to buy the book when it's officially published, right?
Right.
Now we're not getting the same money from Vella, but but in terms of a tool, I find it invaluable. Yeah,
and that's the same way with this writing in public Substack I'm doing. It's just amazing, how much it will compel you to get your butt in gear and sit down and do it. Put your fingers on the keyboard and play with your imaginary friends for a while, right?
Yeah. That's exactly it.
My characters live much better lives than I do. Much slower, much more exciting,
Right.
Yeah. And really, I mean, seriously, who wouldn't want to be an assassin if they could?
Exactly.
Just one. Just
a successful one. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when we went to the rifle range one time, this excellent marksmanship instructor addressed all of us. And one of the first thing he said when he got out in front of us, there was a bleacher full of, I don't know, probably 100 guys, something like that. And he said, show of hands. First thing he said, show of hands. How many of you people want to kill somebody someday? Just to see what it's like. Be honest,
Listen, YouTube police, this is all in the context of fiction. So don't come down on me, please.
And several guys, kind of tentatively raised their hands.
Right.
He said, "Come on, I know there's more of you than that." He's doing his thing, and right. but that was kind of eye-opening for me, because don't you want to try this, whatever it is?
Right.
Doesn't have to be, assassinating somebody. Whatever it is, don't you want to try this just once?
Sure.
Just to see what it's like. It's the same reason kids, my own children, one of my sons took one of my cars out of the driveway late at night because he had to find out how high he could make it fly going over a railroad track.
Oh, Jesus.
And he did.
Oh my God.
And I've had a guy try to take my Forerunner when I had it, try to jump a canal with it,
Oh my God.
It got wet.
Oh, I bet he pulled an Evel Knievel. Snake River Canyon.
Yeah, straight to the bottom.
Yep. Well, it's funny because we do our characters do lead these like sort of awesome lives that are almost fantastical in a way. And I remember even the writer's life. I mean, in terms of the writer's life, people look at us and they're just kind of like, wow, these guys are writers, or this guy's a writer, whatever, like that must be something or whatever. But it's not as glamorous as we think. And there's a short clip you could find on YouTube with David Duchovny, and he was talking about Californication. and which I loved that show. I thought that was a great show, and and it's about a writer who, he just leads this really cool life. He gets all the girls, and they flock to him, right? He just can't help himself, and he has a bestseller, and he had a movie out, and all this sort of stuff. But but the theme throughout is that, at least the first season, that he's suffering from writer's block, and he just can't get the muse back. But Duchovny says, the guy who wrote it, Tom Capanos, and Duchovny says, like, Capanos wrote what is essentially a writer's fantasy. He's like, this doesn't exist for any writer. It just doesn't exist.
No.
He's like, there goes Vin Zandri walking down the street, and some young girl's gonna be like, yeah, I got to get me a piece of that.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't happen. If anything, they're like, you don't have a real job,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on to the next guy.
Yeah, I think the other side of that, one of the problems with brand new baby writers and wannabe writers is they think it is some high calling, or
right.
And it's not. It's a workaday job. It's like anything. The only difference is it's a job we really love to do.
Right.
And when you find something you really love to do, it's not work. It's a ball of fun is all it is.
Yep.
I feel guilty half the time because there are days when I'll spend 12, 14-hour days out here between the nonfiction and, the journal and things like this and my writing. But the writing always takes priority. So I do these other things when I have to, but the writing is always there. Right. And it's my workaday job. It's what I do every day. Often I don't even know what day it is. Somebody will email me and say, well, have a nice weekend. And I'm thinking, what day is it?
When you were 5 minutes late, I was like, wait a minute. Is it Thursday? I was like, maybe it's Thursday, and I fucked up, the same thing.
No, you were right. It was my turn. It was my turn to screw the pooch on that deal.
Oh no, but I wholeheartedly understand. And for anybody who doesn't realize it, Harvey works in a separate house or a separate. What do you call your place again?
The Hubble.
Your writing studio. The Hubble.
The Hubble. Yeah.
It's a separate writing studio. Separate from his house.
It's dirt walls. They're about 3.5 feet thick.
That's cool.
Whoever built it originally put concrete and then painted over the thin layer of concrete and then painted it gray, and parts of that's falling down and, and I've got artwork hanging all around me in here and, it's really cool. It's really cool, but it's only about 150 feet from my back door of my house.
Oh, okay.
But it gives me a place to go. When I get up in the morning, I have to go to work. I don't just go into an office in the house or something like that. I like it out here. It's all mine.
I think that's a brilliant idea. Jim Harrison had something similar in Arizona. Speaking of that, but more in the mountains, I guess. But and then one evening, Jim Harrison didn't come out of his hovel for dinner or, to make dinner because he was a gourmand. But and so his wife, fearing the worst, sent in, I forget the writer's name, but
I'm undoing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But he went into the hovel. He went into the hovel, and Jim Harrison had typed his last word, and he face plant on his typewriter because he still used a manual typewriter. That's the way to go.
That is the way to go, man. My wife and I have been over this. I said, look, because I was just telling somebody in an email, I'm an old guy, and old guys work weird hours.
Right.
Sometimes, like last night, I woke up at shortly after midnight, so I came to work. Sometimes I wake up at 1 or 2 or 3, very seldom after 3 a.m. And then I work out here until 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
Wow.
And so I told my wife, I said, look, if I'm not up there by 4, call me. And if I don't answer the phone, call the sheriff. Let him come out, because that's his job. You know,
That's his job.
your job isn't to come in here and find the old man's kicked, you know.
Right.
You can celebrate the insurance and all that later, but let him tell you that you get to celebrate it. You know, make him feel good.
That's right. That's funny. That's funny because I mean, I think also Robert Parker died the same way. He face planted on his typewriter. You know, same thing.
No better way to go, man.
Yeah. You know, I can't think of anything better other than dying in your sleep, I guess. But
let me give you a real quick tour of the Hubble here. You want to see it?
Yeah, let's see it. Let's everybody see it.
I'm going to turn the camera around.
All right.
Let's see. I got this really neat. Well, you probably can't see the camera because it's the camera. Duh.
I was just thinking of that. I was going to mention it, but
that's business computer,
nice.
Which has Ben's face right there, and mine will be right here again in a minute. And then you just turn this way. See my little typing table right there?
Yep.
That's just a little standard old typing table like they used to make. Yep. with a Mexican blanket on it, a small one.
Perfect.
And then right there, that's a little computer that I like to write on because it has the right keyboard for my fingers. You think I ain't spoiled? Okay. That box right there is a former humidor. Now I keep my food in it. So when I want a snack, I can turn around and grab it. See, I got a regular 10-foot man cave here. It's cool.
Oh, that's great.
And then there's my little clock to tell me when it's 4 o'clock so I can go home.
Right.
There's got to watch my wire here so I don't go too far. Right. I don't know if you can see that picture on the wall of a guy that looks like Gus McCrae.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually Wes Crowley.
Uh-huh.
And then I got that one up there. That's actually Gus McCrae and Captain Call. And you can't see it, I'm sure, but across the top I wrote in black pen, it all started with Wes Crowley. As my very first novel was Leaving Amarillo with Wes Crowley.
Awesome.
And then there I got a bunch of my my feel-good things.
Right.
It's different rocks and bottom of an old whiskey bottle and some stuff there. Some stuff there. There's a piece of my artwork. There's a piece of my artwork right up there.
Wow. Do you sell your art?
More over there. And I only buy art when I see a story in it.
Oh, okay.
This picture right here, try to show it to you right. Let's see. No, that's not right. Anyway, maybe you can make it out. It's got an old hotel.
Sure, I see it.
Like vintage, vintage about World War I. Okay. Like in your favorite, like Italy.
Sure.
Something like that. I'll bet you I've gotten 10 stories out of that.
Oh, that's terrific.
There's either a guy up in the window, you know, right. Or there's a wounded soldier behind that building in the alley, waiting for this girl who comes running up. She's got a rope tied around her dress, you know, to hold it together.
Yep.
Over there, see all the plants.
Oh, nice. Yep.
Okay. All those plants, that end of the Hubble is my kind of my nursery. I bring all my plants in here for the winter. And then that big beast of a plant over there in the corner, you can see it peeking past the shelves. That thing's almost as tall as I am. And it's a weed, but it's from Africa. So I wanted to see how long I can grow it.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
Then there's more of my artwork stuff up there. So
Harvey, do you sell your artwork?
no. This isn't. No, it's not mine. It's
No, I know
stuff
that,
that
but I was just wondering if you also did artwork.
no. I'm
Oh,
a
okay.
Renaissance man, Ben,
Yeah,
but not. I'm not a painter.
yeah,
I'm
I'm not either.
I used to be a pretty good guitarist, and believe it or not, with this voice, I used to be a pretty good singer.
I believe.
We used to do a lot of gigs back in the day. Uh, and I like a lot of different things.
Right.
I could have been a meteorologist. I would love that, especially a tornado chaser.
Sure. Yeah,
Storm chaser.
yeah, that would be cool.
I started out as a machine gunner in the Marine Corps. Loved that. I think we talked about that before.
We did.
And I've got to mention, just in case there are any jarheads out there watching this, today is the Marine Corps birthday. Semper
Oh,
Fi.
yes, it is. You mentioned that. Semper Fi.
248 damn years, man. And I'm feeling every one of them.
First one's on the beach next to the sea beast.
That's one of the things we did at the store. We went out and bought a cake.
Oh, that's terrific.
I don't eat a lot of cake, but I ate cake on this day. And later on today, bad ticker or not, I'm going to turn up a bottle of Jameson and Sons Irish whiskey and pour me a shot and toast my buddies.
Awesome. I have a little Jameson over there on my bar.
Oh, I love Jameson.
That's been like the only palliative since I've had this head cold is like, I don't touch anything, any kind of substance or liquor or anything like. Well, I don't do any substances, but I mean, I don't touch any kind of, unlike the Hemingway myth and all that, and it's a pure myth.
It's a pure myth, yeah.
Like I don't touch any booze when I'm writing or working. Everybody thinks, oh, you must be like, drunk when you write or something like. No, that's a myth. But that, just a shot of that has been like, oh, feels so good. Like it clears me up.
And I'll tell you what, if you ever can't find Jameson's, I've found out, for me, not necessarily for anybody else, but for me, and it's a completely different kind of whiskey. I like whiskey. I used to like whiskey when I could drink it, but it's a completely different kind of whiskey. But John Jameson and Sons Irish and Jim Beam.
Oh,
I can drink you drink for drink. Back in the day, I could match you drink for drink, beer or anything else, and I will not go under the table. I'll get real happy, and tomorrow, this is key. Tomorrow, I won't have a hangover.
Wow, that's a talent.
As long as it's Beam or Jameson Sons.
Right. I find Jameson is. I mean, if like I don't drink any other kind of hard liquor or anything like that, not even like gin or vodka or anything, because I don't like it. But the only type of hard stuff I can actually handle is Jameson. And some people will say to me, "Oh, that's kid stuff or whatever," but I'm like, well, I don't care. When I'm in Italy, I drink Prosecco. Don't tell any of my guy friends that.
I know some guys who would tell you from under the table or under the bar that Jameson is not kid stuff.
yeah. I've seen some people pretty screwed up on it. Let's see. Tony Herring chimes in. Hi, Tony. Two of my favorite authors having a chat. Woot. Thank you both for doing this.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Tony.
Thank you. Thank
We
you, Tony.
appreciate you, bud.
Yeah, we certainly do. So do you cook afterwards, or does your wife cook, or do you both sort of take care of that? Do you just sort of do it together? Yeah.
I'm kind of the cook.
Oh, okay, good. That's right. I think you told me that.
Yeah, I enjoy, especially. I'm a great short order cook. I love feeding people at breakfast, man.
Right.
I'll sling. Yeah, I'll sling eggs and sausage, and potatoes, but I don't personally eat potatoes anymore. I'm a starch-based life form, and I'm not allowed to have bread or potatoes.
Oh,
because it just that's where people think if you eat fat you're going to get fat. That's not true.
no,
if you eat if you eat carbohydrates, that's what makes you fat in a hurry. So
sugar, pure sugar.
And I'm all proud of this, but I don't want any more of it.
I hear you. I hear you. I still have my girlish figure, Harv. I go out there and put in the road work, and then I lift the weights. But today was like walk, run, walk, run, walk, run. Like I don't know. I believe in sweating it out. So whatever.
Yeah.
But Harv, where can people? This went fast. Where can people reach you? Where can they find you? Where can they find the great Gunny?
For the books, especially, I like them to go to Stone, STONE, Thread, THREAD, Stonethread, publishing.com. And that's just where all my books are. I run the website. It's not some big New York thing. I run the website. For any writers out there, drop by the Daily Journal, which is at, again, mine. It's at hestanbrough.com. And my grandpa used to say, Stanbrough is spelled exactly like it sounds with an ugh on the end.
Okay.
It's STANBROUGH.
That's right. It does have an ugh on the end. Never noticed it.
And then you can also just go to my main author site, and look at harveystanbrough.com, just my name.com. And I have all those are interlinked, if you go to harveystanbrough.com, you'll find a link that will take you to the journal if you're a writer. And the journal is a really good resource for writers. Guys, I'm with you.
I can attest to that for sure.
And then Harvey, it also has a link to Stonethread Publishing for the books.
Right. Harvey is not selfish with his time when it comes to giving authors, would-be authors, and fans all sorts of resources, all sorts of advice, and really appreciate it.
I love other writers.
Yeah.
If you got the stones to do what we do, and the wheelbarrow to carry them in, I'm all for you, man. And I'll give you my books. I'll give you nonfiction books. I'll give you my time, whatever it takes. And only because I want to help you cut the learning curve.
Right.
Right. And that's Vin knows the same thing. Vin and I both learned a lot from a guy named Dean Wesley Smith.
Yes, we did.
Who, the damn guy actually has his birthday on the Marine Corps birthday, which pisses me off no end. Because that should have been mine.
That's right. That's right.
But
I forgot it's his birthday. He's 73. I'll have to chime in on his blog.
Yeah, so take that. You're 2 years older than me, bud. 2 years.
Dean, we got to have you on one of these times. I'd like maybe it'd be great to get him on with you as well.
Oh, that and then you in the room too. Oh my Lord!
I'll moderate it.
I'll moderate my butt. Yeah, that would be good. What I'd like to see is you, me, and Dean all in just one room.
Well, that's what I mean. That
would be
together, physically together.
Witnesses.
Yeah,
without witnesses, because
that would be awesome.
Would fly, baby.
Yeah, I would love that. We'd have to record it somehow.
Yeah, 2 old cripples and Vin. That's what we should.
I'd be the young guy. You guys can all be busting my balls. Like,
that's
Vince, nobody asked your opinion yet, Vince.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. All right, listen, Gunny, Uncle Harv. This was a pleasure. You're going to come back?
Oh, yes, sir. Anytime.
All right, brother.
I'll try not to be late next time.
Oh, don't worry about it. It's your show. All right, Harvey, I will talk to you very, very soon, and thank you again. And for
You
everybody
betcha.
else, ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.